I'm so annoyed today on the channel. We got to do another drone truth here on the Drone Camps channel and set the record straight. Hey, 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 hey. Let's set the record straight in the FPV hobby. If you're looking to get into FPV and start flying drones, this is a foolproof way to do it, but for my opinion, it is lacking some options, guys. So let's go ahead and talk about some drone truths today. You're probably watching this Stargazer review because, well, you watched this guy's video and currently he has over 20,000 views, and I can't blame you. It's a pretty good video. He makes great videos, but is it the best beginner drone out there for children, beginners, and people that are looking for a birthday present or a Christmas gift? I have to maybe disagree with this video because, well, there are some other options out there, and what might actually be better for around the same price that you can buy right now and records 4K. You can also do flips, rolls, and teach you how to fly freestyle and indoor or outdoor flying. It has all the attributes to record your own videos to the goggles and put them on your computer, things like that. Let's just go ahead and dive into the Stargazer review and the full comparison of what else is out there that you need to know about as a beginner. Please, 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 just trust me on this. Let's get started. Now, this is the box you'll get in the mail when you order the Stargazer. It looks very nice. The graphics are well thought out and everything appears to be done like a graphic novel or a Japanimation type of comic. Now, let's get something straight in this review. Hisingy, I hope you're not offended by me telling some drone truths in this video and talking about other drones out there, because that's what a reviewer's job is, right? But I do have to tell my audience, my Drone Camps FPV community, that the Stargazer is a really nice pick. If you want to buy something and just pull it out of the box and fly it, this is one of the best and one of the top picks for 2023. However, it is lacking some options that we're going to talk about in this review. And I have to say, I had to give it to Hisingy for the graphic design on this box. The interior unpackaging process is super fun, and it gives me that kind of graphic novel Japanimation look. I love the character Cooper on the front. It has even two-tone printing on here. You can have a matte finish here, and it has a gloss over top of this. I don't know if you can see that sheen across the quad itself, but it also comes with stickers that you can put on the drone. It has multiple canopies, and it even has its own app. If you download the Hisingy Versus app, you can fly a track with someone and compete with other people. There's even a virtual simulator world on the Hisingy website. You can go to hisingy.com and check out their virtual world, as well as their app information. You can download the manual, and you can see what's coming out for the new releases coming out for Hisingy. So I think it's very well developed, and they're pretty much 115% there for the product development. We just can't buy it yet. Now, if you do buy this for someone and they open this box up, they're going to have a pleasurable experience. This is a lot of fun. It is really cool to look at, especially if I was a kid. I would love this. I just think that it's kind of geared toward children. I really do. Now, inside the box, you have this first welcome card. It has a QR code here for watching their explanation video, but you really should watch this video, and step-by-step downloading the app and how to connect the mini drone, unlock the full potential, and as you fly it, the further you get, the more time on the drone, it unlocks more angle to it, kind of similar to angle mode inside Betaflight that we use here natively on the channel. So the only thing about this quad is you can never fly it on acro mode unless it comes with a firmware update later to unlock that, possibly, but we don't know yet. So if you're looking to learn acro and flips and rolls and things like that, well, stop watching this video and go watch my video on the GapRC Tiny Go. You also get this welcome envelope from Hisingy. This is pretty sweet right here. It has this cool kind of, it looks like Donkey Kong flying on top of a quad here with this kind of like 8-bit graphic. I love that. Inside, welcome, your journey starts here from Hisingy, and it has some more instruction manual that again is in Chinese on one side. It looks like maybe there's some English here in the fine print. It has a little tiny card here for the Stargazer itself, the TX100, and it looks like a card for the ARX 500, which is the goggles. Also in the box, you do get a nice bag and everything will fit inside this bag. It has Cooper on here, which is cool. It has some nice drawstrings on here. It will close all the way up. If you pull, it'll cinch closed like that. And you can wear it as a backpack or carry it as a bag. My opinion, I feel like they should have a case for stuff, because once you throw all of this stuff in this bag, you're risking damaging the parts on your controller. So I would suggest getting some kind of case for this. You can find them on Amazon, as well as maybe a case to protect the drone body itself. You don't want to break these props while you're transporting something in a bag like this. So not my best first choice for drone transport. Now also in the box we do get this drone right here, and this is the Stargazer without the graphics on it. I didn't put any stickers on this yet. You can also check out the manual. If you open up this box, you'll see your stickers in here. We also have more QR codes for the app and things like that from Hisingy, and amazing product manual. This is start to finish, and it is in English and Chinese. So for Chinese pilots, you got all your information there for you, and as well as some English instructional in this. And we have under that accessories, which comes with a fantastic charger. And I got 6 batteries in my bundle, so I'm going to do a lot of flying in this review. This is the charger itself, and once you see that the batteries are all charged, you'll see these blue lights here. If you pull one of these batteries out, it pretty much goes in the Stargazer on the back side of the quad, just like this, slides in, boom, and you get that cool startup tone there. We have our FPV camera in the front, which is also not tiltable, so that's one kind of drawback. You can't change the tilt angle of this camera. It is locked in position, so as you learn how to fly faster and faster, your camera might be pointing at the ground. That depends on if they ever unlock some acro mode to let us do flips and rolls, which this quad may never sadly do. But I do like that it is on 5.8, because that means that if you have other FPV goggles out there, you can use another pair of FPV goggles that have a DVR, and you can record your videos on the Stargazer. Now, I have to find out more information on these goggles, because right now I don't know that these do record the videos. That is one drawback. There's not a lot of buttons on here. There's only 2 on the top for auto search right here and display and control functions. It is a joystick type of button, push and selection joystick. On the bottom, we have an 18650 Lion that's already in there and partially charged. So I charge that up. If you long press this power button right here, this will come on. It will show you the display in here. You can see the logo. And this is actually a pair of Fat Shark goggles. So this was manufactured by Fat Shark, which is super, super cool. It is a high quality pair of goggles. You probably don't need to wear glasses with this, because this is the first pair of box goggles that I can see out of, which is kind of amazing. We also have a really thick, extra thick strap here. This is way more comfortable than most beginner straps that have the over the head type strap. I don't like that, and I always take it off. So this is a really nice custom kind of strap that you would buy, like a fat strap later on when you're more experienced in FPV. So it's super cool that they have that, and I went ahead and put that on. But I have to tell you, there is no slot for an SD card anywhere on this pair of goggles that I can find. Maybe it's on here somewhere, I just can't find it, but they do have what appears to be maybe a module expansion bay on the side right here. So that might be cool for later. Are they going to release some type of module for expansion for these goggles? Maybe so. Maybe there will be a plug-in DVR later. That would be cool, Hisingy. Also in the box you get this controller, which is very well thought out. It is simple. It has turtle mode on this big giant play school looking button right here, and it has function mode 1 and function mode 2 here. We have USB-C charging. You have a little LED light there that tells you when it's complete, and we have an 18650 option in the controller as well. So I think that is also super cool. You also have a power button here, up here actually. If you long press that, it will turn on. You hear the little beeps. We have an engine start button right here. So right here, if you long press that, it's gonna play a sound and it will start the drone's motors. Now it does come up off the ground very stable. And let me just show you right here on the bench. I will just put this battery in because it's already charged. And by the way, these are 1S 600 milliamp batteries. So these should give us a long flight time. Let me go ahead and slide this in, graphics down, go ahead and set that down. And if you're looking to learn how to bind this, if you need to bind it, it's not set up, you're wondering why, long press this and hold this button here and press on the power button at the same time, and there is a bind button on the drone somewhere. I believe it might be under the drone. It's in the instruction manual, you'll find it, but it is on the side. You press the bind button and you press this button, holding it and powering it on at the same time will bind the transmitter to the drone if you become somehow unbound. Now if you want to start the motors, let's go ahead and turn it around. If you're a brand new beginner at flying FPV, make sure you have the back facing you when you do take off for your first flights, and I suggest flying it in line of sight first. That means not using your goggles. Fly it around the room for 2 or 3 or 4 batteries and then goggle up. I know you guys can't stand it, but this is the way you power up the drone. You just press this button and look at that. It will not take off just yet until I push up on the throttle. The throttle's here. This is yaw, pitch, and roll on this side. So we just go ahead and come up off the bench. And look how stable it is. That is super crazy stable. I'm flying it right here in front of the camera in a few square feet. And as you come down, you press down on the stick and it will disarm the motors. Now, one thing that I really wish that the Stargazer had is acro mode. This does not have acro mode. What does that mean? If you're a beginner watching this video, acro mode is how we do flips and rolls, and we do those amazing freestyle videos. This one, as a trainer, will not allow it to be an acro trainer. You can only fly in stability mode, which is a huge bummer. Inside the app, it will allow you to add more angle as you fly it for around an hour. You can add angle mode on here, which allows it to have a little more tilt, but still avoids doing flips and rolls. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do a flight test with it though, and fly it in the modes that it comes with, and I'll show you how it flies. Now, unfortunately for you, you cannot record your videos to your DVR on your goggles until you have the upgraded Wi-Fi module. It works with the app once you have the Wi-Fi module plugged in and you enter in the passcode 1234567 It is a little module bay on the side right here. But that stinks because out of the box, I can't record my videos. So for this flight test, what we're gonna have to do is set these goggles down, put a recorder on there and show you what's on the screen as I fly. And I'm gonna fly in real time with you. And we're gonna do a flight test regardless. But yeah, that's the thing. This is not good. They should include that in the box, I believe. Without further ado, let's go ahead and fly. Okay, so now we're recording separately in the goggles with a different device, and I'm gonna have to fly with these because, well, I can't record my DVR and fly at the same time and show you guys what's on the goggles. Yeah, so let's go ahead and fire it up. I'm gonna press the start button right here, and that is gonna get us up off the ground and flying around. And I'm gonna have to tell you guys that it does fly extremely well. Outside not being able to record your DVR out of the box, it does fly great. So let's go ahead and take off now. I'm inside my Sky Zone goggles. Press the start button. It won't come off the ground yet. It has a self-centering stick. You're just gonna press up and it's gonna come up just like that and you're off. If you let go of the throttle stick, it's just gonna sit there like this and kind of slide to one side because it doesn't have position hold. So using that right stick, I can push forward, and if I press left or right, it's gonna roll left and right. Not a lot of altitude change there or any kind of real extreme movements. Beginners typically press the sticks a little too much to start with, and you have to get used to using like really fine movements. So this allows you to kind of use big movements on the sticks, and the quad doesn't give you like a big reaction, which is great for beginners. So I think that they have it tuned really nice for beginners. I'm pushing, this is full stick forward right here. Give it a little up, and that gives it a little more throttle. Makes it go a little bit faster. Let's see if we can go under the piano bench here. First lap. Under the piano bench, under the tripod. Great control. Better control than a lot of the other beginner drones out there. So I'd say the tune is extremely good. Now, take this with a grain of salt. I am an experienced pilot. On your first flights, you're not gonna do this well. You're probably gonna bump into things. And I'm getting like maybe about a 6-minute flight time out of this quad. So That's really good. And I'm going places, I'm bumping into things, and I'm not crashing. There, the engine stopped. That is very interesting. So a couple bumps, it's gonna cause the engines to stop. Let's see if we can get out from under this chair or whatever it is we're under. We're underneath the fireplace, it seems. Let's go ahead and start engine again. Up. Now we're out from under there. Let's see if we can turtle mode. Gonna press the engine. All right, now it looks like we may be stuck. Now we're upside down. And so as I got the quad, this happened. The top of it popped off, and now you can see underneath here where the antenna is, the 5G dipole antennas in the very back, the LEDs. Those are also changeable in the app, which I think is cool. So now I'm gonna try to snap this whole configuration back on here, and hopefully we can resume flying. So I'm gonna just maybe try to somehow make this work. It has two clips, one on each side. Should pop this back on. So it should be easy to change the body from one body to the next. I'm gonna make sure my props aren't having a problem rotating. This looks good. Let's go ahead and set it back down on the floor, and let's go ahead and start again, shall we? Here we go. Let's go ahead and take off. I'm gonna arm the engines, and hopefully it'll fly great. Again, after having tumbled, seems to go right back to it. You know, the turtle mode didn't exactly work because, well, we were stuck underneath. And let's try pushing a function button. We're gonna press function button number 1, and it doesn't do anything. What about function button number 2? It doesn't do anything. It vibrates, but I don't have any extra speed out of that. So as you learn how to fly this drone, it tracks how long you've been flying it in the app, and once it does that, it's gonna allow you to be able to give it faster speed and upgrade it. And it'll just go faster and faster, but it's never gonna do flips and rolls or fly in acro. And that's the one thing that I really wish this drone would do. So let's go ahead and go outside now. Let's do a little outside exploration, and let's see how far out in the backyard we can get before this little guy fail-safes onto the ground. If it loses communication with the transmitter, it will actually fail-safe and go to the ground. So it's not gonna fly away on you. You can go out in your backyard and you can explore. Let's just go out here underneath the Concord grape awning here, and let's see how much distance we can get out of this VTX on here. The VTX is the video transmitter, so I'm almost all the way at the back of the yard here, getting very fuzzy as I get near the fence, but I can still see. There's the swing set. Oh, I'm losing it right there. I'm gonna have to go forward a little bit. Oh, it's landing. It's auto landing on me. So it automatically landed in the backyard. Okay, we have a new battery in, and let's just go ahead and continue the flight test. Fresh pack, here we go. Recording video on my alternative device other than the goggles, and having to use a different pair of goggles because, well, I can't see and record at the same time. So I'm gonna go ahead again and press the start button. Look at the lower right-hand corner. You can see the battery voltage. I'm at 4 volt right now. And when you get down close to the bottom, the battery is gonna automatically bring you down and land. So it'll auto land. And you're not likely to get a lot of damage on this drone because it's so lightweight. Let's go ahead and play around with some gaps here. And let's go ahead and try to make that infamous bookshelf gap that's so hard. And right now I have an extra book in there, so it's even smaller than normal. Oh, I made it through on the first try. You might not make it through on the first try if you're brand new to flying quads. So take your time. You can create a course in your house, and you can have a ton of fun exploring. Let's just slow down again and try to make a really small gap here. There's another one. Really nice. Awesome. So it does fly really well. I'm loving the way it flies, and the tune is nice. Not a lot of vibration or a lot of what we call jello in the camera. And here's where we crashed earlier. We hit the stovepipe, the notorious stovepipe gap. Let's get low to the ground. It tracks really well. I'd really like to have a little more speed out of this because I think that at a higher speed, with this kind of tune on here, I feel like it would fly really good.
Now keep in mind too, like earlier when we went out in the backyard, guys, like I'm using an extended antenna on this pair of goggles. So I'm probably able to get further range out of this drone than if you were flying on the stock goggles. The stock goggles have a built-in internal antenna to them, so you might not get as far across the yard, but I'm getting some breakup here, but I'm still able to see and navigate these gaps. Let's go ahead and come back inside if I don't crash. Gain some altitude here, fly back in the door, and it seems to be doing a lot better. Now, one thing I also didn't see is the fact that I don't think it has any type of adjustments on the power on the video transmitter on the drone. So that's one thing that I would like to have, is I would like to be able to have power control for the video transmitter. And that might be something that the team can maybe implement later into the app, but that maybe will come out in the future with a future firmware update. That would be super cool. So I would suggest that to the Hisingy team. But yeah, we have to give them 2 thumbs up for the tune on here and how well it flies. It does really, really fly well. That's a full punch out right there too. So it doesn't have the biggest punch out in the world. And again, let's go down through here, take that gap. Maybe try to make this bookshelf gap one more time. Really nicely controlled through there. Oh! And one other thing that I have to comment on is the fact that when you bump something with this drone, it doesn't automatically crash. Some of the BetaFpv drones out there will bump something once and you get a flight controller freakout, which makes the drone kind of spin and tumble to the ground. So that's nice that this drone can bump something and not crash right away. Let's try to take a smaller gap here between the Eiffel Tower. Loving that. I feel like I'm playing PlayStation though. It really does feel like a game. You know, I have to say the fun factor is definitely a 5 out of 5 for this. So even though I can't record my videos on the DVR or fly acro mode, as a beginner, it is fun. If you're a brand new pilot, out of the box, bam, you can start flying FPV and have some fun and develop your skills. But you really need to be able to fly other modes, and that's where I feel like there's a drawback on the Stargazer, honestly. Because, you know, at a certain point, you're gonna fly a bunch of batteries. They give you a bunch of batteries with this, but I don't know that you're gonna get bored. But once you get to a certain skill level in this mode, you don't have any other way to change. You can only change the angle and go faster, and that's what I want to be. I want to be able to flip and roll at some point with this drone because the brushless motors can handle it. We have other drones and other tiny whoops that we fly here on the channel all the time that are this size that can absolutely do freestyle. And I believe the way that this drone's set up, this power system could definitely do freestyle. So there I am, 5 minutes with that battery. I got 6 minutes out of another battery, so the flight time's pretty good per battery. And I have 6 batteries in my bundle. So let's go ahead and go back to the bench. Let me give you some real world advice and let's just get real about the Stargazer, what it offers, and what else is out there. All right, guys, if you skipped forward to this part of the video to find out what the alternative is, good for you. Here you are at the point in the video where we're gonna talk about how this did in comparison to something like the GEP RC Tiny Go. If you look back on the last few videos we did for the best beginner drones of 2023, recently the Tiny Go is still the reigning king of the beginner ready to fly FPV bundles. And the reason for that is it has a 4K DVR on board that can record down to a micro SD card, no Wi-Fi or messing around with any of that. You can also record DVR video from your analog video transmission from the drone to your goggles. It has an SD card support inside the goggles, so no messing around with Wi-Fi or downloading apps and registering your email and all that stuff. So you can just pull out the ready to fly Gep RC TinyGo and start flying, recording 4K videos and your analog video at the same time. So it has two different video systems on board, which is kind of cool. And Gep RC doesn't want your email, so I think that's really nice. Now let's talk about the flying characteristics between the TinyGo and something like the Stargazer. The Stargazer, it does extremely well, but it will not flip and roll. And that's my biggest takeaway at the end of the day, that this one's not gonna be a real FPV trainer for someone that really wants to get into the FPV hobby. If you're serious about going further than just flying this, then I would definitely suggest going for the TinyGo. It has 2S battery on there as well, which brings more power for FPV freestyle, and it will do acro. So you can do the flips and rolls and practice freestyle with the TinyGo versus the Stargazer you cannot. So if you're just gonna fly straight ahead and do stability and you want a bunch of options with an app and replaceable canopies, this did come off quite easily. You can do that. This is a very simplistic product, and I think that's what Hisingy is trying to do here, is just come straight simple. They're not trying to be super complicated or anything like that, but the thing is that the app is complicated and it has a lot of options in there. And one thing for me, unfortunately, that I was disappointed with is the fact that it came with a port on the side of the goggles for a Wi-Fi module adapter that you have to buy separately outside of this bundle to be able to record your videos in the DVR. And you have to go and access those videos inside the app, which as an FPV pilot with years and years of experience, to me was kind of annoying. So with standard TinyGo, you're gonna go out, fly faster, you're going to be able to fly acro, you're going to be able to record 4K and your DVR videos to a micro SD card and not have to fool around with all this stuff. So I think, again, for the beginners, absolute beginners, you're probably better off in the long run going with something that you can kind of gradually upgrade to acro later. And it's up to Hisingy whether they come out with something that is a direct competitor to the Gep RC TinyGo. That's yet to be determined, and yet to be determined also, guys, if they're going to introduce acro mode to the Stargazer. Probably my biggest disappointment about it, along with the DVR. So there you have it, guys. The record's set straight here on what this product's all about. If you enjoyed this review, please do join our Drone Camp's FPV community. You can check out the link down below. There's over 600 pilots in there and around 70 pilots in there at one time, at any given time during the week. We talk about FPV 24/7. This really is a core FPV channel. Please do join us on the Discord and subscribe on the channel for more drone truths right here on the Drone Camp's channel. Guys, I'm Justin Davis. This has been the Stargazer review, setting the record straight. I'll see you on the next one.